Lisa Schneider had always believed in second chances. At 53 years old, the Hamburg native found herself navigating the unfamiliar terrain of online dating after her divorce was finalized in early 2023. Her 26-year marriage to a successful architect had crumbled under the weight of his infidelity, leaving Lisa emotionally devastated and financially comfortable, but profoundly lonely. "I never imagined I'd be one of those women swiping through profiles at my age," Lisa confided to her best friend, Sarah, over coffee in their favorite cafe in Hamburg's Eppendorf district. "But what's the alternative? Spending the rest of my life alone?" Lisa's children, Maximilian, 24, and Sophie, 22, had both moved away for university and career opportunities. The large family home that once echoed with laughter and teenage chaos now felt oppressively empty. Her ex-husband had already moved on, remarrying a woman 15 years younger within months of their divorce being finalized. Lisa felt time slipping away from her, and with it, the possibility of companionship. In March 2023, Lisa downloaded several dating apps. She was immediately overwhelmed by the experience. Crude messages, inappropriate photos, men who seemed interested only in casual encounters. She was about to delete everything when a message arrived that seemed different. "Good morning, Lisa. I noticed your profile mentions you love art and travel. I'm renovating a small boutique hotel in Cancun and would love to hear about your favorite museums. Your smile is lovely, by the way. Carlos." The message was polite, specific, and seemed genuinely interested in her as a person rather than just her appearance. Lisa clicked on his profile. Carlos Hernandez, 47, claimed to be a Mexican entrepreneur and hotel owner. His photos showed a handsome man with warm brown eyes, silver-streaked black hair, and an easy smile. In his pictures, he posed at construction sites, at beach sunsets, and with what appeared to be his elderly mother. Everything about his profile screamed stability, success, and family values. The grooming phase begins. What Lisa didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that every detail of Carlos Hernandez had been carefully constructed. The photos were stolen from a Venezuelan architect's Instagram account. The elderly woman wasn't his mother, but a random tourist he'd photographed at a Cancun market. Even the name was an alias. The man behind the screen was Miguel Angel Ruiz, a 32-year-old career criminal with a history of romance scams, fraud, and violence that stretched across Mexico and into Central America. Miguel had perfected his system over 7 years and at least 15 known victims. He maintained multiple fake identities across various platforms, each carefully crafted to appeal to specific demographics. Carlos was designed specifically for middle-aged European women, divorced or widowed, financially stable, emotionally vulnerable, and hungry for adventure and romance. Over the following weeks, Carlos wove a masterful web of emotional manipulation. His messages arrived like clockwork. Good morning texts with photos of Cancun sunrises, afternoon check-ins asking about her day, evening conversations that stretched for hours. He shared carefully curated details about his fictional life, the boutique hotel renovation project, his responsibilities caring for his aging mother, his love of classical music and European culture. "I've always dreamed of visiting Germany," he wrote one evening. "The architecture, the history, the precision of everything. I think Germans and Mexicans have more in common than people realize. We both value family above everything else." The messages were perfectly calibrated. They made Lisa feel seen, understood, valued. After months of feeling invisible following her divorce, the attention was intoxicating. She found herself waiting eagerly for his messages, smiling at her phone like a teenager. By April, their conversations had moved to WhatsApp and included video calls. Miguel was careful during these calls, always filmed in dim lighting, always brief, always with compelling excuses for why they had to end quickly. The construction crew needs me, or my mother is calling, or internet problems here in Mexico. You know how it is. The calls were just long enough to seem real, just short enough to prevent careful scrutiny. "You're different from other women I've met," Carlos told her during one call, his face partially shadowed, but his voice warm and sincere. "There's something about you, Lisa. Something real. I feel like I can tell you anything." Lisa felt her heart race. She hadn't felt this way in years, maybe ever. Her ex-husband had been emotionally distant, focused on his career and eventually his affairs. This felt different. This felt like the connection she'd always wanted but never had. The isolation begins. Sarah, Lisa's closest friend, was less enthusiastic about the online romance. "Lisa, please be careful," she warned during one of their coffee meetings. "You've never even met this man in person. How do you know he's really who he says he is?" "I've video called with him," Lisa protested, defensive. "I've seen his hotel, his projects. He's real, Sarah. Just because you've never had a problem with online dating doesn't mean everyone is a criminal." "That's not what I'm saying," Sarah tried to explain, keeping her voice gentle. "I just think you should slow down. Maybe have him visit Hamburg first. Why does it always have to be you traveling to Mexico?" Lisa felt a flash of irritation. Sarah had been happily married for 30 years. What did she know about starting over at 53? What did she know about the courage it took to put yourself out there again? "He can't leave right now because of the hotel project and his mother," Lisa explained, repeating Carlos's carefully planted excuses. "She's elderly and depends on him. I understand that. Family comes first. Besides, I've always wanted to see Cancún. Why not combine romance with adventure? This was exactly how Miguel wanted his victims to think. He'd spent weeks subtly undermining Lisa's confidence in her friends' and family's judgment, positioning himself as the only person who truly understood her. He'd listened to her complaints about her ex-husband, validated her feelings of being underappreciated, and gradually suggested that her friends and children didn't really understand what she needed. "They mean well," Carlos had told her in one late-night conversation, "but they're not living your life. You deserve happiness, Lisa. You deserve adventure. Don't let other people's fears hold you back from living." By May 2023, Lisa had withdrawn from many of her social activities. She'd cancelled a planned trip with Sarah, claiming she wanted to save money for her Mexico visit. She'd become distant with her children, irritated by their questions about this Carlos person. She spent hours each day messaging with Carlos, researching Cancún, planning their meeting. The financial grooming. In early June, Carlos introduced the first financial request, carefully, tentatively, wrapped in embarrassment and reluctance. "Lisa, I need to ask you something, and I'm honestly ashamed to even bring it up," the message read. "There's been a delay with my business loan from the bank. Bureaucratic nonsense. You know how Mexican banks are. The construction crew needs payment this week, or they'll abandon the project. I'm so close to finishing, and this delay could ruin everything. I've never asked anyone for money in my life, but I'm desperate. Could you possibly lend me $5,000? I'll pay you back with interest as soon as the loan comes through next month. I understand if you can't, and I'm sorry for even asking." Lisa stared at the message, her stomach twisting. Every warning she'd ever heard about online scams flashed through her mind. But then she thought about their months of conversations, the video calls, the connection they'd built. This wasn't some random stranger. This was Carlos, the man who made her laugh, who listened to her stories, who seemed to genuinely care about her. "How do you know the loan will come through?" she typed back cautiously. "I have it in writing from the bank," he responded immediately. "I can show you the documents." "Lisa, I swear to you, this is real. I've already invested everything I have into this project. I just need to bridge this gap. If you can't help, I understand, but I had to ask. You're the only person I trust enough to even mention this to." The next day, Lisa transferred $5,000 to a Mexican bank account Carlos provided. She told herself it was a loan, an investment in their future together. When the money arrived, Carlos was effusive in his gratitude. "You've saved me, Lisa. I'll never forget this. I can't wait to meet you in person and show you what your trust has helped build. You're going to love the hotel. It's going to be our place, somewhere we can always come back to together." The invitation to paradise. 2 weeks later, in late June, Carlos suggested that Lisa visit Cancún in July. "The hotel won't be completely finished, but it'll be far enough along that I can show you around. Plus, my mother is eager to meet you. I've told her so much about you. What do you say? 2 weeks in paradise, just you and me." Lisa's heart soared. This was it, the moment she'd been waiting for. She'd meet Carlos in person, see the hotel she'd helped fund, perhaps even meet his mother. She imagined walking on the beach hand in hand, sharing romantic dinners, finally experiencing the physical connection she'd been longing for. She booked a flight for mid-July, a 14-day stay at a resort near the hotel zone. Carlos had insisted she stay somewhere comfortable while he finished some final work details. "I want everything to be perfect when you arrive," he told her. When Lisa told Sarah about her plans, her friend's face went pale. "Lisa, please don't do this. You barely know this man. You've sent him money. What if this is all a scam?" "It's not a scam," Lisa snapped, angry now. "You just can't stand to see me happy. Carlos is real, the hotel is real, and I'm going to Mexico whether you approve or not. I'm 53 years old, Sarah. I can make my own decisions." The friendship that had lasted decades cracked under the strain. Sarah tried one more time to convince Lisa to at least let her children know where she'd be, to share Carlos's contact information with someone, but Lisa refused. "I don't need babysitters," Lisa said coldly. "I'm going to be fine." "Better than fine. I'm going to be happy." Maximilian and Sophie, Lisa's children, were equally concerned when they learned about the trip during a tense family dinner. "Mom, this sounds crazy," Maximilian said bluntly. "You've never even met this guy in person, and you've already sent him money?" "You don't understand," Lisa replied, tears forming. "You have your lives, your relationships. You don't know what it's like to be alone at my age. Carlos makes me happy. Why can't anyone just be happy for me?" Sophie tried a gentler approach. "We just want you to be safe, Mom. Can we at least have his phone number, the hotel address, something?" "I'll text you when I arrive," Lisa said firmly. "That's all you need to know. Now can we please talk about something else?" Departure Day. On July 15, 2023, Lisa Schneider boarded a Lufthansa flight from Hamburg to Cancun. In her checked luggage, she'd packed light summer dresses, swimsuits, and a new lingerie set she'd bought specifically for this trip. In her purse, she carried her passport, credit cards, and $2,000 in cash. Extra money Carlos had suggested she bring, just in case. As the plane lifted off, Lisa felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Part of her knew her friends and children had valid concerns, but she pushed those thoughts away. She'd been cautious her entire life. Cautious in her marriage, cautious in her career, cautious in every decision. Where had that gotten her? Divorced, lonely, and watching life pass her by. This trip to Cancun was different. This was her choosing adventure, choosing romance, choosing to believe that good things could still happen to her. What Lisa didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that everything she believed about Carlos Hernandez was a lie. There was no hotel renovation. There was no elderly mother. There was no future together in paradise. There was only Miguel Angel Ruiz, waiting at the Cancun airport with carefully practiced charm and very different intentions. As Lisa's plane descended toward the turquoise waters of the Caribbean, Miguel checked his phone one final time. He reviewed the photos Lisa had sent, memorized her flight details, and smiled to himself. She would be easy, he thought. They always were when they were desperate enough to believe. The trap was set. Paradise was waiting, and Lisa Schneider was walking straight into it. The Cancún International Airport was a sensory overload. Lisa emerged from the air-conditioned jetway into Mexico's humid embrace, immediately feeling perspiration form on her skin. The terminal buzzed with tourists in bright vacation wear, families speaking Spanish in rapid-fire exchanges, and vendors offering taxi services and hotel packages. Her phone buzzed as she cleared customs. A WhatsApp message from Carlos appeared. "I'm waiting for you at arrivals, mi amor. Look for the man holding red roses. I can't wait to finally hold you in my arms." Lisa's heart raced. After 4 months of digital connection, she was about to meet him in person. She checked her reflection in a bathroom mirror, reapplying lipstick with trembling hands. At 53, she wondered if she looked as good as her photos. What if he was disappointed? She needn't have worried. Miguel Angel Ruiz was a professional, and disappointment was never part of his performance. The charming Prince Lisa spotted him immediately. A handsome man in a crisp white linen shirt holding a bouquet of red roses, his smile warm and welcoming. He was even more attractive in person than in the video call, she thought, her nervousness melting into relief. "Lisa," he called out, approaching with open arms. The embrace was warm, practiced, perfect. He smelled of expensive cologne and held her just long enough to seem genuine without being inappropriate. When he pulled back, his brown eyes locked on hers with seemingly genuine affection. "You're even more beautiful than your photos," Miguel said in lightly accented English. "The pictures don't do you justice. Come, my car is just outside. You must be exhausted from the flight." As they walked through the airport, Miguel kept a gentle hand on her lower back, proprietary but protective. He carried her luggage with ease, asked about her flight, and pointed out landmarks as they drove toward the hotel zone. Everything seemed perfect. The resort where Lisa would be staying was impressive, a sprawling complex with multiple pools, restaurants, and direct beach access. Miguel had insisted on paying for her room upgrade, despite her protests. "You helped me with the construction loan," he said, waving away her objections. "This is the least I can do. Besides, I want you comfortable while you're here. You're my guest in Mexico." The first evening. That evening they had dinner at an upscale restaurant overlooking the Caribbean. The sunset painted the sky in brilliant oranges and purples, and mariachi music drifted from somewhere nearby. Miguel ordered champagne and toasted to their meeting. "To new beginnings," he said, clinking his glass against hers, "and to the beautiful woman who believed in me when no one else did." Over dinner, Lisa finally asked about the hotel. "When can I see it? I'm so excited to see what my investment helped create." Miguel's expression shifted, just a flicker of something that might have been annoyance, quickly masked by a smile. "Soon, mi amor. There are still some final inspections happening this week. Mexican bureaucracy, you know. But I promise you'll see it before you leave. Right now, I just want to focus on you. We have 2 weeks together. Let's not rush." It was reasonable, Lisa told herself. She was here for romance, not a construction site tour. Still, something about his evasiveness niggled at the back of her mind. "What about your mother?" Lisa asked. "You mentioned she wanted to meet me." Yes, of course," Miguel said quickly. "She's been a bit under the weather this week. Once she's feeling better, we'll visit her. She's very excited to meet you. I've told her all about the wonderful German woman who stole my heart. The pattern emerges." Over the next 3 days, a pattern began to emerge that Lisa initially dismissed but couldn't entirely ignore. Miguel was attentive and romantic, but always on his terms. He would arrive at her resort around noon, spend the afternoon and evening with her, but always left by midnight. "The construction crew starts early," he explained. "I need to be there at 6 a.m. to supervise. You understand, mi amor? Soon the project will be finished and we'll have all the time in the world." He was generous with romantic gestures, flowers delivered to her room, surprise beachside dinners, a sunset catamaran cruise, but evasive about specifics. When Lisa asked to see photos of the hotel, his phone was mysteriously always out of battery, or the photos were on my laptop at home. When she suggested they exchange Facebook profiles or Instagram handles, he claimed he didn't use social media much and preferred to live in the moment. Social media ruins relationships, he said. Everyone comparing their lives to others, sharing everything publicly. I want what we have to be private, just between us. Don't you think that's more romantic? It sounded reasonable, but Lisa's daughter Sophie was active on Instagram, and she'd tried searching for Carlos Hernandez in Cancun. Nothing came up, no hotel project, no personal profile, nothing. When Lisa mentioned this casually, Miguel had an immediate explanation. I use my mother's maiden name for business here, Ruiz. It's complicated Mexican family politics, and the hotel isn't on social media yet because it's not officially open. You can't market an unfinished property, Lisa. Once we launch, there will be a big social media presence, I promise. The second request. On the fourth evening, as they walked along the beach after dinner, Miguel broached another financial topic. He seemed reluctant, embarrassed, the same performance he'd used before. Lisa, I need to tell you something, and I'm not proud of it, he began, his voice heavy with apparent shame. Remember that bank loan I told you about? The one that was supposed to come through? There's been another delay. Mexican banks are impossible sometimes. And now the final inspection is scheduled for next week. But I need to pay some fees up front, permits, safety inspections, all this bureaucratic nonsense. Lisa felt her stomach tighten. How much are we talking about? Another $3,000, Miguel said quietly. I know, I'm embarrassed to ask. You've already helped me so much, but I'm so close, Lisa, so close to finishing everything. Once the hotel opens, I'll pay you back everything with interest. Or, he paused, turning to face her with apparent vulnerability. Maybe you could consider it an investment. We could be partners. The hotel could be ours together, something we built. The romantic notion appealed to Lisa's longing for partnership, for being part of something. But Sarah's warnings echoed in her mind. What if it's all a scam? Can I think about it? Lisa asked. Miguel's face registered hurt. Of course, I understand. I shouldn't have asked. Forget I mentioned it. He was quiet for the rest of the evening, withdrawn, punishing her with silence for her hesitation. By the next morning, Lisa had convinced herself she was being paranoid. She transferred the $3,000. The isolation deepens. Miguel's response was immediate and effusive. The coldness vanished, replaced by overwhelming gratitude and affection. That night, he suggested she move out of the resort and stay with him. Why are you wasting money on that hotel? He asked. I have a comfortable apartment. You could stay with me. We could wake up together, spend real time together. Isn't that why you came here? To be with me? Everything in Lisa's cautious nature screamed danger. But she was already in too deep, emotionally and financially. She'd sent him $8,000. She'd flown to Mexico. She'd alienated her friends and family. What did she have to go back to if this wasn't real? 2 days later, Lisa checked out of the resort and moved into Miguel's apartment, a modest 2-bedroom unit in a less touristy area of Cancun. It was clean but sparse, nothing like the luxurious lifestyle his photos had suggested. When Lisa commented on this, Miguel had an explanation ready. I live simply, he said. All my money goes into the business. Once the hotel is successful, I'll upgrade. But for now, this is enough. Or is it not good enough for you? The question carried a subtle edge, a test of her commitment. No, it's fine, Lisa said quickly, not wanting to seem materialistic or judgmental. I don't need luxury. I just want to be with you. That answer pleased him. The first night in his apartment, their relationship became physical. Miguel was attentive but controlled, always maintaining dominance in subtle ways. Afterward, as Lisa lay beside him, she noticed his phone buzzed repeatedly with messages in Spanish. When she asked about it, his face hardened. "Work stuff," he said curtly. "Nothing for you to worry about." But Lisa had glimpsed one message before he locked his phone, and it hadn't looked like construction business. It looked like another woman's name with heart emojis. The first real fear. On her 8th day in Mexico, Lisa tried to contact Sarah back in Germany. She needed to hear a friendly voice, to share her concerns with someone who knew her, but when she looked for her phone, she couldn't find it. "Have you seen my phone?" she asked Miguel, who was making breakfast. "You left it charging in the bedroom," he said, without looking up. But Lisa was certain she'd left it on the living room table. When she retrieved it, she noticed the battery was nearly dead, despite being plugged in all night. And when she opened WhatsApp, her conversation with Sarah had been deleted. "Miguel, did you use my phone?" His expression shifted, cold, controlled. "Why would I use your phone, Lisa? Are you accusing me of something?" His voice was calm, but there was an undercurrent of threat that made her heart race. "No, I thought..." "You thought what? That I'm spying on you? Reading your messages?" He stepped closer, and for the first time, Lisa felt genuine fear. "Maybe you're the one with secrets. Maybe you're talking to other men. Is that why you're so worried about your phone?" The accusation was absurd, but Miguel's intensity made Lisa stumble over her words. "No, of course not. I just wanted to call Sarah, that's all." "Sarah, who warned you not to come here? Sarah, who doesn't support our relationship?" Miguel's voice rose. "Maybe you shouldn't talk to people who don't want us to be happy together, Lisa. Maybe you need to decide who you trust, them or me." Lisa apologized, though she wasn't sure what she was apologizing for. Miguel accepted her apology, but remained cold for the rest of the day. That night, he didn't come to bed until very late, and Lisa lay awake in the darkness of a stranger's apartment in a foreign country, wondering what she'd gotten herself into. Lisa woke on day 10 to find Miguel going through her purse. When confronted, he claimed he was looking for aspirin, but her wallet lay open on the table, her credit cards spread out. "How much cash do you have left?" he asked casually, as if rifling through her belongings was perfectly normal. "Miguel, that's private." "Private?" His laugh was cold. "We're together now, Lisa. Partners, remember? Or was all that talk about investing in our future just words?" She had $200 remaining. By that afternoon, it was in his pocket. "Emergency," he explained vaguely. "Inspection, bribe. This is how Mexico works." The other women. That evening, while Miguel showered, his phone buzzed incessantly on the nightstand. Lisa's hands trembled as she looked at the screen. Messages in Spanish from multiple women. Gabriela, Carmen, Ana. Flirtatious messages. Photos. Voice notes calling him mi amor. Her stomach lurched. She opened his photo gallery and felt the world tilt. Screenshots of bank transfers from different women. Photos with other tourists. European women, all middle-aged, all beaming beside Miguel in the exact same poses he'd used with Lisa. There were dozens of them. "What are you doing?" Lisa spun around. Miguel stood in the doorway, water dripping from his hair, his expression dark. "Who are these women?" Lisa's voice shook. Miguel crossed the room in 3 strides and snatched the phone from her hands. "You have no right to go through my things." "You went through my purse this morning." "That's different." His voice was ice. "Those are old photos, past relationships. Are you jealous, Lisa? Is that what this is?" "The messages are from today. There are bank transfers." His hand shot out and grabbed her wrist, squeezing hard enough to hurt. "Careful, Lisa. You're in my country now, my home. You came here willingly. You gave me money willingly. Who do you think the police will believe?" Lisa's blood ran cold. She was registered at his apartment. She'd transferred him thousands of euros. She'd told her family and friends she was fine, even as they'd begged her to come home. "I want to leave," she whispered. Miguel released her wrist and smiled, a predator's smile. "Leave? With what money, mi amor? You've spent everything. Your return flight isn't for 4 more days. Where exactly will you go?" He was right. She'd given him her cash. Her credit cards were maxed from the transfers. She was trapped. The realization, that night, Miguel didn't return to the apartment. Lisa sat alone in the darkness, her wrist already bruising, understanding the full scope of her mistake. This was never a romance. It was a systematic predation. She was another Mark, another middle-aged woman whose loneliness and desperation had been weaponized against her. She thought about Sarah's warnings, her children's concerns, all the red flags she'd ignored because she wanted so badly to believe in second chances and love. Her phone had 3% battery. Miguel had taken the charger. She managed to send one message to Sophie before it died. "I'm in trouble, Cancún. Address K1LL3D, apt 2B. Don't trust Carlos. Real name might be Miguel. Please help." The phone went dark. Outside, she heard footsteps approaching the apartment door. Miguel was returning, and Lisa had no idea what came next, only that she was alone, vulnerable, and very far from home. The nightmare was just beginning. The door opened. Miguel entered, reeking of alcohol and perfume. He looked at Lisa, sitting in the darkness, and smiled. Not the charming smile from the airport, but something cruel. "Still awake, mi amor?" He tossed his keys on the table. "Or were you planning something? Maybe trying to run away?" "Miguel, please. I just want to go home." "Keep the money, I don't care. Just let me leave." He laughed. "Let you leave? Lisa, you don't understand. You're not going anywhere until I say so." He grabbed her phone from the counter. "Dead battery? That's unfortunate. And look, you sent a message to your daughter before it died." How sweet. Lisa's heart sank. He'd seen Sophie's message. "Don't worry," Miguel said, plugging the phone into his charger. "I'll reply for you. Tell her everything is wonderful. Tell her you've decided to stay an extra week. Tell her to stop worrying." His eyes locked on hers. "You'll help me write it, won't you?" The forced messages. Over the next hour, Miguel dictated cheerful messages while Lisa typed with shaking hands. Photos of her smiling on the beach, taken days ago when she was still hopeful, were sent to Sophie and Maximilian. "Having the time of my life. Carlos is wonderful. Extended my trip. Love you." Each message felt like a betrayal, but Miguel stood over her, watching every word. "Good girl," he said when they finished. "See how easy it is when you cooperate?" He took the phone again, pocketing it. "I'll hold on to this. Can't have you sending any more distress signals." The network. The next morning, a woman arrived at the apartment, young, heavily made up, speaking rapid Spanish with Miguel. They argued in the bedroom while Lisa sat frozen on the couch. She caught words. "Dinero, estúpida, última." When the woman left, Miguel's mood had darkened further. "That was Gabriela," he said flatly. "One of my business associates. She thinks I'm wasting time on you. Says older women aren't worth the effort anymore." He studied Lisa with cold calculation. "Are you worth it, Lisa, or are you becoming more trouble than you're worth?" The threat was clear. The escape attempt. On day 12, Miguel left the apartment for several hours. Lisa searched frantically for her passport. He'd taken it for safekeeping days ago. She found it hidden in a locked drawer, along with 3 other passports. German, French, British. All women around her age. All with the same desperate look in their photos that Lisa now recognized in mirrors. How many others had there been? How many were still alive? She grabbed her passport and ran. The streets of Cancun's residential area were unfamiliar, hot, disorienting. Lisa didn't speak Spanish beyond basic phrases. She stumbled toward what looked like a main road, searching for police, for tourists, for anyone who could help. She made it 3 blocks before Miguel's car pulled up beside her. "Get in the car, Lisa." His voice was deadly calm. "No, help! Ayuda!" she screamed. But the street was empty in the afternoon heat. Miguel got out, grabbed her arm with bruising force, and shoved her into the passenger seat. "You just made a very big mistake. Back to the apartment." The beating wasn't severe. Miguel was too smart for that. Just enough to terrify her. A slap across the face. Her head slammed against the wall, his hand around her throat, squeezing until she saw stars. "I could kill you right now," he whispered. "Who would even know? Your family thinks you're having a wonderful vacation. No one knows where you really are. You're nothing, Lisa. Just another stupid woman who gave me money." He released her, and she collapsed, sobbing. "2 more days," Miguel said, checking his phone. "Then your flight leaves. You'll go to the airport, smile, tell the immigration officer you had a wonderful time, and you'll never speak about this to anyone, because if you do—" He showed her photos on his phone, her apartment building in Hamburg, Sophie's university, Maximilian's workplace. "I know where they are, Lisa. I know everything about you. Understand?" Lisa understood. She was going to survive this, but only because he was letting her, for now. Lisa spent her last 2 days in Mexico as a prisoner. Miguel kept her passport, her phone, her money. She was allowed to shower and eat, but always under his watch. He'd grown careless, confident she was broken. On the morning of her departure, something unexpected happened. A knock at the door. Miguel answered it to find a young Mexican police officer, a woman, perhaps 30, with sharp eyes. "Miguel Angel Ruiz," the officer asked in English. "We received a report about a missing German tourist, Lisa Schneider. Her daughter filed an international missing person report when her messages seemed suspicious." Miguel's charm activated instantly. "Officer, there's been a misunderstanding. Lisa is right here. She's fine. We're together. Show her, mi amor." Lisa stood frozen. This was her moment. Miguel's eyes burned into her. "Remember your children. Remember what I know." The officer studied Lisa's bruised wrist, her hollow eyes, her trembling hands. "Ma'am," the officer said carefully in English, "are you here voluntarily? Blink twice if you need help." Time stopped. Lisa looked at Miguel's face, the mask of charm cracking, revealing cold calculation beneath. She thought of Sophie's message, of her daughter refusing to accept those fake happy photos, of someone caring enough to call for help. Lisa blinked. Once. Twice. Everything happened quickly. The officer, Teniente Ana Morales, called for backup. Within minutes, 3 more officers arrived. Miguel tried to run but was tackled in the stairwell. Lisa collapsed, sobbing with relief and terror. Anna wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. "You're safe now. He can't hurt you anymore." At the police station, the full scope of Miguel's operation emerged. The apartment contained evidence of at least 12 victims over 3 years. Passports, bank statements, love letters, jewelry. Some women had reported thefts. Most had been too ashamed to come forward. "He targets divorced or widowed women aged 45-60, Anna explained. "Always European, always financially comfortable, always lonely. He's part of a larger network operating across Mexico and Central America." Lisa gave her statement, hands still shaking. The $8,000 she'd sent was gone, untraceable through multiple accounts. Her cash had been spent. She had nothing to show for her nightmare, except bruises and trauma. The investigation Mexican authorities discovered Miguel had 7 active aliases across dating platforms. At any given time, he was grooming 3 to 5 women simultaneously. The construction project never existed. The elderly mother was a stock photo. Even his real name was uncertain. Miguel Angel Ruiz was likely another identity. Interpol became involved when connections to human trafficking were suspected. 2 of the passports found in Miguel's apartment belonged to women who'd never returned home. Their cases remained unsolved. Lisa's testimony was crucial, but Mexican prosecution would take years. Miguel's lawyer argued she'd given money willingly. No physical evidence proved assault, just her word against his. The international jurisdictional complications meant extradition was unlikely. The return home, Sophie and Maximilian flew to Cancún to bring their mother home. The reunion at the airport was tearful, complicated. Lisa was alive but shattered. "I'm so sorry," Sophie whispered, holding her mother. "I should have done more to stop you." "No," Lisa said quietly. "I should have listened. I was so desperate to not be alone that I ignored every warning sign." The flight back to Hamburg felt eternal. Lisa stared out the window, unable to sleep, replaying every moment she'd dismissed her instincts. 6 months later, Lisa sat in Sarah's kitchen again, the same cafe where this had all begun. But everything was different now. "The trial keeps getting delayed," Lisa said, stirring her coffee. "Miguel's lawyer filed another motion. Anna says it could be years before he faces real consequences, if ever." "But he's in custody?" Sarah asked. "For now, but Mexican bail laws are complicated, and even if he's convicted," Lisa's voice trailed off. They both knew the statistics. Systematic predators like Miguel often received minimal sentences, especially when their crimes involved foreign victims. Lisa had started therapy. She'd joined a support group for romance scam survivors. She'd lost $8,000 and nearly lost her life, but she'd gained something unexpected: purpose. "I'm sharing my story," Lisa said. "Online, in groups, anywhere someone will listen. Because the shame is what keeps these predators working. The shame is what stops women from reporting. If I can help even one person recognize the warning signs,